How are you doing? And you're very welcome along to the Football Pod with Paddy Andrews, James O'Donoghue and Tommy Rooney. We've had the first weekend of Championship. 9 games were up for decision this weekend. We also had the Masters. We're not going to hide away from that one. I know that probably caught the attention of Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue, but we had so much Gaelic football this weekend and a lot of interesting bits and pieces. One stat, lads, that stood out of 9 games, just one team who were playing at home won.
Whoa.
And that was after extra time.
Armagh.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a huge... Because home advantage in a championship match is an incredible advantage. Jesus, that is a good one.
I mean,
and did you pick that up in? Did you pick that up in Lanzarote, Tommy?
No, I'm
is
away
that
at
the word
the
on the street in Porto del Carmen? Or are you
actually Chat GPT this morning?
Playa Blanca, and no, I came up with that stat myself. And you can actually arguably say none of them actually won because technically Armagh and Tyrone ended in a draw after normal time, and obviously Armagh got the job done at the end. We'll come back to that game in a little while. How was your Sunday evening?
Sunday was good.
It was good.
It was good. No, yeah.
It's great stuff.
The golf is the hardest watch. I don't care. I'm not invested at all. And like the knot in the stomach when McIlroy is about to throw it all away again.
Yeah, every shot is
though.
just a tightrope. Like my wife said the exact same thing to me last night watching. She's like, "Why do you care this much? Like, it doesn't matter if this fellow wins." And I'm just like, "Oh, it was."
When
great
he got
stuff.
into the bunker,
Always
though,
is.
Betty. When he got into the bunker
At the end, 18.
At the end, right? Honestly, a certain camera angle went to him. The bunker was a monster. It looked about 40 feet high, like. And they were just saying, "Oh yeah, he needs to chunk this out and 2-putt." I was like, "That is such a hard shot under pressure." I don't think the
Jimmy,
camera
I've seen
does
you
it
in the
justice.
bunker, and I've seen you in the bunker in Clarity. How many shots do you think you'd have taken to get out of that thing?
Hang on, there's video footage of me doing the best
There
bunker
is.
shot of all.
There is video footage. Tommy, I think we should share some video footage there. No, it's great.
We have a bank of it.
It's one of the best sporting events to watch. It's from Thursday evening. Jesus Christ. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Did you see
Armagh Tyrone probably didn't live up to it now yesterday. It was it got going in the end, but I think the Masters for me was the most exciting thing from the weekend.
Scheffler felt inevitable as he does, like he goes bogey free over the weekend and then gets to 11 under. There was that one putt, I think, was it 17, and it looks like it's dropping in, and it
didn't want that one to go in. Like, I was like, we don't need this.
If he got to 12, you know,
he'd win. Yeah, Rory was going to shoot the dogs. Yeah,
well, it would have been playoff minimum anyway.
But a playoff would have been epic. I think we're going to get that at some stage in a major. Rory.
It was bedtime, Tommy. Jeez, midnight. Me staying up to midnight is way past my bedtime.
I agree. One playoff was enough. But yeah, James, you mentioned the bunker shot. It was the drive for me on 18 that like
straight into the ditch.
So far right. But look,
and
look, I don't know. Do you follow Haotong Lee? A great
he did the last day, didn't he?
But he's some crack. He's some crack, lads. Jesus,
he's good, isn't he? He's good value, like
yeah.
Did you see Matsuyama was absolutely strung together by the end of it? I'd say he nearly needed a wheelchair to go from hole to hole. And the commentary never even said a word about it. His back was in ribbons, I'd say.
Oh, but Maracao, you mean?
Was it Maracao? Yeah, sorry.
Maracao was like
Matsuyama made a charge.
Yeah, Maracao has got a worse back than me, I think. Yeah, injections in there, buddy. Yeah. Inject him.
Yeah, and look, it was Offaly were beating the football on Saturday evening by Laois. Wasn't great.
Beaten well. Surprised, I have to say, with that one.
8th defeat of 2026, and yes, they have a lot of injuries. Yes, they have problems, but it hasn't been a great time since they won that Division 3 title. So they look to bounce back. But they did have Lowry with an unbelievable ace on Saturday, which might have brightened up.
Don't know if Mickey Hart and that gang were too interested in that now after losing to their neighbours so convincingly on Saturday.
What a collection!
You might get a few bob out of it.
What a collection of hole-in-ones that man has. But again on Sunday,
2 at the Masters, is he?
Only guy at the Masters with 2 hole-in-ones.
You have to crack Sundays.
A hole-in-one, a pitch and putt.
Crazy guy. Pirates Cove and Wexford there, Corktown.
There was a couple of other, Rory obviously becoming the fourth ever to go back-to-back after Nicholas, Faldo, Woods, Lowry becoming the only man.
Masters, did he?
Did he not say it last night? Did he not say it last night?
I don't know if he's won that before. I must check that.
Yeah, did you see the little interaction after the very weird Butler's cabin when Or before it actually, and Faldo's like, stay in touch. Yeah, Nick, I will.
100%. Yeah. We'll do drinks. Faldo. He got Rory in a headlock coming out.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, Rory. It was good stuff.
Couple of other droughts and a couple of other stats that I've got for you. Leitrim have beaten Sligo for the first time in 15 years. And this was a mighty, mighty win. Like, I decided to tune into Ocean FM to listen to the commentary of John Lynch, Jerry McGowan, and Mickey McGowan. So they had a Sligo man and a Leitrim man on co-commentary with John Lynch. And when I tell you, it was absolutely class, lads. The excitement in this game was off the charts. Leitrim, led by the tour de force that is Barry McNulty, with 1-6 from midfield, lobbed the keeper for a goal. Glorious footballer. I got their noses in front and were well in front at a couple of stages, and Sligo reeled them back. And then I think something that might crop up a little bit over the next little while. Sligo got a couple of 2-point frees later on with a chance to win it. They missed the first one, and the second one, with 20 seconds left, they decided to go short and try and work a 1-pointer to get an equaliser. I don't know if you guys faced this yet.
I didn't see that. That didn't say that on the highlights.
They kicked it wide, and like when I'm telling you that the Ocean FM commentary team lost their minds, they couldn't believe that Alan McLaughlin had decided to go short and try and work
but is that a bit of like playing the percentages, Tommy, as well? Like, you kind of
possibly
they'd miss, if they hadn't missed the one before, they'd go for it. But like, okay, we missed that one, let's just try and make certain and try and get a draw.
The ref is giving you nothing there though as well, Paddy. Like, if you're going short,
the ref's going to give you the free.
When you go short kick out, and the ref is like, I'm going to leave them put whatever they want on this fella now.
There could be a clothesline here. I'm going to let it go.
If you have the
guaranteed
shot, Jesus, it's hard to turn that down, isn't it?
Yeah. So look, it was and Alan McLaughlin had kicked a number of scores to keep them in touch, Sligo. But big loss for Desi Sloan and Eamon O'Hara, who would have been on the Sligo team in 2007 that won their last Connacht championship. So they're going to have to pick themselves up now for the Tailteann Cup. But Stephen Poacher and Leitrim.
Big win for Leitrim, yeah.
Big win. There was
Barry McNulty, Tommy, was absolutely incredible.
The baller, isn't he?
I didn't see the game, but I just saw the clips. Every single thing he did looked such a class above. Like, so
quality,
far,
isn't it? Like, yeah.
The fielding, the way, I love when big men can actually take on a man. It just shows an extra side to them, and the way he can just glide past and kick points off right and left, inside the boot, outside the boot, long distance, short distance. Absolutely fantastic player. I know you're a big fan of him, Tom, but Jesus, he is super. Glorious
footballer. No, he really is. And I think our card has been marked on Barry McNulty for a couple of years because his talent was very evident as a 16, 17-year-old breaking through in Leitrim. I just had to mention some of the co-commentary, and anyone who wasn't listening to Ocean FM wouldn't have heard it. But Mickey McGowan, who would have been involved with Leitrim at underage level and was a selector under Mickey Moran and John Morrison, had a clinker, and he was in the throes of passion after the game, after Leitrim had beaten Sligo for the first time in 15 years. But he was giving credit to Stephen Poacher and his management team, who stepped in, right? And this is a quote from Mickey McGowan. Stephen Poacher stepped in after Mickey Graham abandoned Leitrim. And I'm going to call it what it was.
Yeah,
he abandoned them. And now Mickey Graham has to come back to Carrick-on-Shannon in 2 weeks' time with Galway. And I hope he gets the welcome he deserves. Now, if that hasn't set the tone,
I would love it. I would love it if we beat them.
Full Kevin Keegan. I like it.
I just thought it was brilliant. And John Lynch just moved on. I think he asked Jerry McGowan that from Sligo a question. Just move on. But I just think it's a glorious little table setter for Leitrim and Galway in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah.
It'll be a great occasion. A little buzz, a little bit of momentum behind Leitrim because they played Sligo a hell of a lot, obviously, for promotion battles over the last couple of years with Tony McGeeney in charge and everything. So, finally get over the line and have the big boys coming to town in a few weeks. Up against it, Galway are obviously going to be favourites, but a brilliant win yesterday.
For sure. Yes. The other two games in Connacht, lads, Mayo went to London.
Yeah.
And they put up the biggest score that they've put on London since the 1991 Connacht Championship, 31 points. Now, they had 7 2-pointers in the first half. They had 16 attempts, so you could call that 14 points from 16 shots. But Andy Moran thought they overcooked it a little bit with the wind. And
the breeze was blowing. The breeze was blowing over in the big city. Jesus.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger. Like.
They got their job done, and they had 2 championship debutants, and Keane McHale, who was very lively early doors, kicked 2 2-pointers, and Hugh O'Loughlin, who they have high hopes for in Mayo, playing on the wing. And then late last night. The biggest news to come out of Roscommon, who were top goal scorers in the country, they put 5 goals on New York, 522 to 112, was Darragh Cregg getting a straight red card just before half-time.
What was it? Was it a strike?
Well,
obviously
I
you
will
see
say
the
this.
scuffle, but
It looked very soft in the scuffle, okay? Now, there was a number of Vigilante Mayo fans on Twitter last night somehow found an angle of a flailing elbow or an arm that was thrown back. Now, I actually think that would even be soft. It didn't even make contact. I don't think it made contact, but they were certainly trying to get that footage across just in case Roscommon had the temerity to appeal Darragh Craig's red card.
He's a big loss for that game against Mayo.
Massive.
You just
crazy.
Like win the game, you're going to get over to New York, obviously, whatever, a bit of bonding, raise a few quid for the supporters and everything, but just win the game and get out of there unscathed without injuries or a red card. And if there's one player, maybe Dermot Murta as well, you just don't want to lose for that game, like an absolute massive game against Mayo. And we know how good Darragh Cregg is, so it's a black mark. It's a black mark from otherwise mundane big championship victory. He would be such a big loss. It looks like he's going to be a loss.
With the refereeing there, Paddy, like the game was such a drubbing. You'd wonder, is the ref just giving out that red card to Roscommon too easy? Do you know?
I don't know. We were obviously not handing out red cards a couple of weeks ago. It was enough of a story as well. You just don't give, like, you were going to beat New York, with all due respect. Just keep your bib clean, and for Darragh Cregg to do that, even if it is soft, he'll be kicking himself, and Roscommon are going to be kicking themselves, because if they're going to beat Mayo, they could definitely do with him in the mix. And it's, as you said, Tommy, probably not getting off that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
might try it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, you're right. What a sickener. And it all started so well. Roscommon getting a goal seconds into that game. I think they had 5 before halftime. Roscommon and Westmeath both scored 5 goals before halftime in their wins this weekend.
Bounce back after the league.
Cork at 4 as well, did they?
Cork at 4.
So, 5 minutes, like,
yeah. So that's an interesting one. But we'll keep an eye on that one with the Rossies, and they're on their way home, obviously, from New York after that trip. The other games we mentioned, Offaly and Laois, we might come back to Leinster in a minute, but we might just move over to Munster, James. And you mentioned Cork there. So they'll be playing Tipperary. Tipperary got the better of Waterford. Waterford were going for their three-peat. They'd beaten them in the minors and in the under-20s Munster Championship. But Tipp came up trumps in the senior championship. Aoife Fitzgerald, the Waterford coach, was chatting afterwards. And he said to Jordan Morris, the journalist, not the player, we've come a long way. There were 8 players training at Christmas, and we've come a long way from that. I've contacted 168 players, asking them to get involved in Waterford football. So that's some of the challenges down in Waterford. But they do have very talented young fellas coming through. So, and I was speaking to Conor Murray a couple of weeks back, and he was talking about just the depth of, football talent that might be on the periphery of the hurling panel or involved in the hurlers or hurling stars that, they're never really getting the nod in Waterford. So the big ball loses out in Waterford. It wins out in other counties. But Waterford fell short in that one. But Cork, James, Cork 4-16, Limerick 1-16. Doesn't really tell the tale of this game, as Cork were absolutely flying it in the first half, but had a fairly stodgy second half with the wind.
Yeah. In fairness to Limerick, they did very well to come back into it and avoid a drubbing. But, and I always have an asterisk against a comeback like that. I always say it's very easy to play when the game is over and the pressure is done. Like, I think Cork went out first half. The game was there to be won. They set an intensity that Limerick could get nowhere near. And it was almost to be expected. In fairness to Cork, had come in full of confidence after a great league, getting promoted. Limerick, almost the opposite. And Cork had too much quality, too much firepower. Their running power just seemed to be carving through them. I know, obviously, aerially, they dominated. But they were just streets ahead. And it's natural in a way, I think, that when you score 4 goals in the first half and the game is over, it's really hard for your mind not to just go 5% less. And that actually makes a massive difference. That 5% of a little switch off, it stops you, might delay you a second to break or to a chance. So I wouldn't read into this game too much from either county's point of view. I think Limerick aren't at that level, and I think that Cork did their job in the first half and on to the next one. So I think they'd be delighted.
Yeah, they were 15 clear at half time, Paddy, against the wind, Cork, and then started the second half. Brian O'Driscoll gets a black card. He's sent off a little later for a yellow and a black, which makes a red. Darren McMullen in the Armagh game had the same, which we'll come back to later because that had a big impact on the end of that game. But for Cork, their under-20 star, Sheedy got an early goal, young full forward.
Phenomenal goal.
Beautiful. And he's really impressed. He went off now with an injury. He actually played for the 20s during the week as well. But he's been a real find for Cork. But would you be worried, Paddy, about that second half? They went down to 14. Limerick got a bit of momentum.
I could not agree with Jimmy more. Playing in games like that, the job was done. The challenge for Cork was to back up their promotion and just be professional with how they did things and very, very clinical in the first half. The game was done. I wouldn't, and even into the semi-final, lads, they're lining up the Munster final against Kerry. They won't say that publicly, but the first two games in the Munster Championship, and it's probably a bit of an indictment on the Munster Championship, like the days of when Limerick were in the Taft Cup final last year. Tipperary obviously had their incredible breakthrough victory, but they've all gone back. Cork, let's be consistent. Let's get promoted back to the top table, which is a brilliant achievement for John Cleary and those players. And now it's about let's just take care of business and get to Killarney for a Munster final, have a cut off Kerry. So I wouldn't read into the second half of that whatsoever. Job was done. I'd say they'd moved on to the next phase, and they'll be looking to do something very similar in the Munster semi-final in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, yeah, so it's Cork and Tipp. Kerry play Clare in the Munster semi-finals. Let's just move on to Leinster. We're saving our Armagh Tyrone chat, and then we'll have a look at next weekend's games in a couple of minutes' time because we have 6 championship games coming up. We mentioned Laois getting the better of Offaly. They went for the jugular early doors, some really good finishes for goals, and the Offaly keeper made some phenomenal saves in that game as well to kind of keep them in touch. There's probably a conversation on Offaly another day, and keeping an eye on maybe what's going on there. Pat Nolan, who would have been an established journalist for a long time, I saw him on Twitter. He stepped away from journalism last year. Had said that it has to be more than injuries. This is 8 defeats this year. They've only beaten Wicklow, Waterford, and New York since they won the league title last year. So he was questioning maybe what's going on with Offaly football at the minute. We'll come back to that again. Laois will go on and will play Kildare in the Leinster quarterfinal this coming weekend. So it's a week-on-week for all the preliminary quarterfinal winners. They are playing Kildare. Wicklow faced Carlow in Dr. Cullen Park and did a right job on the Division 4 champions. Wicklow obviously falling short in the last day, not getting promoted, but the threats that Wicklow have across the board, Mark Jackson kicking a 2-pointer from play and then a number of frees off the deck that were moved up for descent, at least 2 of them. So that's
2 of them. Same players, though, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. Well,
this was the danger, Tommy. I was saying it last week that the incredible league that Joe Murphy and those Carlow players had to get promoted. Obviously, Wicklow smarting a bit like that. That little chip on your shoulder is such a powerful thing to have. And this was the danger for Carlow. Yes, promotion. We said this for teams in Division 3 and 4. The leagues are nearly as important, if not more important, than maybe the provincial championships, because it's very unlikely that they're going to try and get their hands on provincial silverware. So Carlow did an incredible job in the spring to get promoted, but they'd be disappointed. They were well beaten. And that, a couple of sloppy mistakes, but for Rushy McConville and his Wicklow boys, there was a bit of a score to settle there, you felt. And this was the danger.
Did you hear Oisín after the game?
No, I didn't see his comments. Go on, what were they?
So
a bit of grandstanding, I hope.
Maybe
I suspect.
Maybe he was talking about me, referencing Joe Murphy's brilliant, chat. And I was chatting to Joe after the.
Joe was on with us a few times as well.
Carlow
go on,
after they won the league. Talking about the pride of it being an all Carlow setup.
Yeah.
I don't think I genuinely Oisín McConville, I don't think he was chatting about you. He might have been, but I don't think he was chatting about you. I think
he reckons it was a dig at him.
I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was for Joe.
I think it was more of an internal. It was more of an internal Carlo sort of a.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think
maybe
so.
he needed to use that though. Maybe it was clever, a little bit of an angle.
And I took that personally, as the great Michael Jordan would say. So,
would that rile the team up? If
the manager's riled up, the players are riled up. Like there is a direct correlation. If you know that your manager is on the absolute edge on this one, it definitely seeps into the players. So if he got himself to that point, I have no doubt it would have.
Why not?
It would have seeped through.
Yeah. Well, Oisin was chatting afterwards to the assembled press, and I'm just reading Michael Verney's piece in Independent, and he said, "I know Joe wants to do away with all the outside managers, but we're here for the moment anyway, and we're here to stay." I was probably taken back by it, maybe took it personally. Maybe I thought it was directed at me, or maybe I'm just paranoid at this stage. So I suppose you pick up on everything for motivation. We had just come off that defeat, a devastating defeat to Longford. But no, I wouldn't have been too happy with those comments. So, yeah, that's spicy. That's spicy.
I think it was directed at Oisin McConville, but like you say, what you got to do, you got to do. What you got to do, you got to do.
Yeah. The reason I don't think it was is that Joe Murphy was obviously an outside manager in Naas up to a couple of months before he took the Carlo job, or when he took the Carlo job. So, I don't know. Look, we'll leave it there.
But even tell me, he came on.
We want everyone speaking their mind.
He came on the View with us after, was it 3 weeks in, and they'd won their first 3 games, and was talking about this. So it wasn't, and that was not, Wicklow weren't on the radar at that point. So
no,
he reiterated the points after they got promoted. So I'm certain it wasn't directed at Oisin McConville, but Oisin McConville's an outside manager of Wicklow, so he's fighting his corner.
He wasn't even 100% right about it, was he? He has someone.
He wasn't. He has someone from the outside that's in.
Well,
there.
actually,
but it's still a good narrative, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's still a great story. Nothing wrong with a little bit.
In fairness,
the danger yesterday, well beaten in the championship.
Yeah.
They would. Carlo were not going to win the Leinster championship, but that would have been to pick up a championship win on the back of promotion would have been good. But Wicklow had their number. And Jackson with the 2 pointers, Tommy. You were bigging them up all National League as well. Such a weapon. But when you start giving them opportunities, like the old Rory Begg, you're bringing them into the game, but give the scent and everything. It's a killer.
There's not many keepers taking shots from play. Do you know, because he would have had to obviously swap, send a defender back. He'll come up and he throws an absolutely sensational outside of the boot of it. It's some advantage to have a keeper that can kick like that.
Such a weapon. They've Kildare next, Tommy.
Yeah, and do you know what? That's going to be a very interesting game in Newbridge. Sorry, no. No, Laois have Kildare next. They have the Dubs next.
Oh,
they have the Dubs next.
Dubs are going that way as well.
No, and this is what I mean. I think that's going to be an interesting challenge, because if there's any bit of indiscipline,
to beat the Dubs.
No, not yet. But I don't think Kevin Quinn was playing, who's one of Wicklow's finest forwards at the weekend. But any bit of indiscipline from the Dubs, and we know the Dubs have been guilty of a bit of indiscipline on the sideline and off the sideline in the last couple
Dublin,
of weeks.
Tommy, it really is all over for the Dubs. I have to say that. I can't dress it up any more than that. If they're beaten by the Garden County, well, knock it on the head.
Well, if Oisin McConville is looking for any more motivation,
put it on the dressing room wall. There you go.
The Dubs don't even have a manager.
There you go. You'll have Paddy over there.
Who's manager in Dublin? I might step in there. When's that on? I'll try and see can I get down there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I do think that is going to be an interesting challenge. So we'll see what happens there. Another interesting challenge is going to be Westmeath taking on Meath, because Mark McHugh's side bounced back with a whopper 5-25 to 116 win against Longford. 5 goals in the first half. The finishes from Luke Loughlin, and Brandon Kelly, they were beautiful. They kind of had the incision, the bit of aggression to cut through, and then to just caress the ball into the back of the net. Glorious goals. 523 of their total from play. The last score, I think, was a 2-point free. Mark McHugh made all his subs before the hour mark, rested key players, took off Loughlin and Whitaker and a couple of others. Obviously a weak turnaround, but that's a savage win to be bouncing into a tie against Meath, James.
Mm-hmm. And I'd be cautious of teams coming in cold into the championship versus a team that has a game under the belt. At this stage of the championship,
we're in Meath on Friday night now, Jimmy. So just let's keep it on.
No, but I'm not even. I'm even saying with the with the Laois Kildare game as well. You know, Kildare are going to go in there and Laois are going to be hopping.
And
Meath are
Wicklow,
going to go into the Westmeath game and Westmeath are going to be hopping. Now, like, it shouldn't have an impact, but I just think that once you have that taste of championship and you've had those nerves and you're ready, you know you're playing well, you've a win under the belt, it just gives you a little bit of something. And Westmeath will need everything. They'll need everything to go their way. They'll need all those good feelings, all those endorphins for championship going, because Meath are on a different level. But I think Westmeath will go in there fairly hopeful and fairly confident of digging something out. Now, it's a long shot, but I said a win under the belt will definitely help them.
There was 31 goals across the 9 championship games this weekend. Some teams definitely targeted them. Westmeath going for goal, James. 5 in the first half. Like Shane Corcoran's finish was at a tight angle. The other, like, none of them are like loopy balls dropping into the back of the net or shots dropped short or anything like that. Like, they were all kind of carved open. That's a big threat and a very tight turnaround for me to do any sort of prep for that one.
It is, and if you were to have question marks over Meath, it is probably the full back line. We've seen them get into a little bit of bother against Cork, and a few other times where, you know, they kind of get attracted to the ball. So it'll be interesting to see what Westmeath can do there. And it's great to see goals going in across the championship, though. It is great to see goals going in, and goals absolutely win games, and they finish games. We've seen the turnaround that you can do. A 6-point lead nearly isn't enough. At times, you know, it can be turned around, but that goal, instead of chipping the point, it really does put a dagger into a team. So it's great to see the quality of goals going in as well.
Yeah, isn't it?
For sure.
What it does for Westmeath, and before we move on to obviously the Ulster Championship game, like, they won the O'Byrne Cup. They were Mark
Seconds,
spoke
Paddy.
with this.
Seconds from promotion.
Yeah, the frustration of not getting promoted, like that, without a doubt. No, Mark McHugh, he was on the show last week. That was a major target for Westmeath to get up to Division 2. So to leave it behind them, and that's what you kind of get the sense they are leaving it behind. They have these moments, periods in games, look, most teams probably have this, where they're moving well and then they find a way to nearly lose the game. He spoke very strongly, challenged his players after the loss to Down in that game in the National League as well. So there was a bit of frustration in that performance. I was saying last week, tough away to Longford. Was the potentially banana skin there, but like Cork over in the Munster Championship, they just came out and put the thing to bed very, very quickly. A really professional performance, and they'll fancy that Meath game.
I think it is fair to say, you know, and you were saying it too, like the teams coming in cold this weekend in Leinster, obviously there's a week turnaround, so that's a challenge in itself for the teams that won. And we also have Louth and Wexford as well. We can't forget that one, but we'll mention that later on. But yeah, I think there's a bit of danger there for Meath.
There is, and like, there's one thing if you've gone to the absolute well, and even like Armagh and Tyrone this weekend, you've gone to the well, it's gone to extra time. You know, you could be out of your provincial championship, but in Westmeath's situation, like, they've just gone and played outstandingly well, and that can only be good. Like, they're not exactly knackered after the weekend, so I think they'll be fine. I'm just looking at some of the goals that were scored this weekend because we're on the goal thing. Barry McNulty's goal, obviously, when he lobs the keeper, was left leg. Now, how he got into one-on-one with the keeper is another question, but an unbelievable finish. Sheedy's goal for Cork, left foot across the keeper, was absolutely sensational. Michael O'Brien for Waterford against Tipp. They kick the ball up in the air. He absolutely plucks it inside in the square and finishes it. Like, some of these goals that are going in are just of seriously high level and high skill, so it's good to call a few of them out as well.
What about the quick hands for the Armagh goal at the start of extra time when they're a man down?
Yeah,
like
it was an important goal.
You're not giving it the same sort of juice, no?
Not in terms of difficulty. It was Oisin O'Neill does very well, and he flicks it in beautifully. Then when he does, he kind of comes to him really fast. Just has to flick it in when he gets it. But it was a good goal, an important goal, but I wouldn't put it into that level of skill or difficulty.
And I was a big fan of some of the finishes in the Westmeath Longford game as well.
Yeah,
they
were good, to be fair.
Yeah, superb finishes. We're going to take a quick break on the football pot, and we're coming back with the Armagh Tyrone breakdown and a look ahead to this weekend's Leinster and Ulster games, because there are 6 big ties. We're back in a moment on the Football Pod. You're welcome back to the Football Pod with Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue. If you're one of the lucky few to have nabbed tickets to our secret show in McCormick's Pub in Trim, we will see you on Friday night. We're looking forward to that one. That's going to be great crack. And I think a good sign, maybe. We're going back to where we were last year. We're not being turned away or shunned.
Always nice.
I think it's a good thing for the pod.
It's good fun last year.
It's like Crow Park.
Usually
we're brought back to Crow Park every year.
Scorched earth. Are we allowed back
Paddy,
to Crow this year? Like, are we?
Oh, we are. Yeah. We're ready to rock. Paddy, as I was calling Wicklow to maybe tickle the bellies of the Dubs and cause them a little bit of trouble, your internet dropped as you were about to
cut me off.
Dramatic prediction.
You cut me off when I was saying that there's expectation on the Royals. This is the challenge for Robbie Brennan and all those players. A lot of people tipping them for the Leinster Championship. And without a doubt themselves, their own goals would be to win the Leinster Championship. So, just to Jimmy's point, I expect them to beat Westmeath. I do. I think they're at a different level if they play to their potential. But Jimmy's point, the team coming in, Westmeath aren't mugs either. I think they should have been promoted. They'd be kicking themselves. They're probably a Division 2 team. They have the game under their belts. They have weapons like Luke Loughlin, who is, every time I see this guy, he's just enhancing his reputation as one of the best forwards in the province. So, yeah. It's not a straightforward game, is all I'd say. It's just there's now the Royals have this expectation around them, and rightly earned, with what they've done over the last 18, 24 months. So it's just an interesting game. Like I said, the Leinster Championship is one of the most interesting provincial championships. I don't think Wicklow beat the Dubs, as you're alluding to, but I think it's a brilliant game in 2 weeks' time.
It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Loughlin will likely go up against Meath's All-Star defender, Sean Rafferty, as well. So that's going to be an interesting battle. And those boys have met a couple of times over the last couple of years. All right. We've saved the big one for last. Armagh Tyrone. This one was stodgy.
Wasn't great.
For the first 50 minutes. And then it burst into life a little bit. Tyrone taking the lead, and Armagh were very good after that. Kieran McGeeney said after the game, we'll come back to his comments on Carton House and Manchester United maybe, but he said after the game about his own performance. McGeeney said, I'm all for playing shit and winning. And I think that's fair. I did see the creator behind Gaelic League Tables, GA League Tables on Twitter. Pretty sure it's Donegal, man. I did see him say that it would be a good thing for Armagh. It could be a good thing for Armagh to fall short in the Ulster preliminary round and get themselves ready for the All-Ireland series rather than going through another long, arduous championship. They ain't taking it. Okay,
Jimmy, you made that point last week. I do accept that in terms of the overall, it might be a little bit easier, but this is the Ulster Championship. Anyone you talk to up there that's involved in it is like, this is the be-all and end-all. And this Armagh team haven't won one. They've won a lot under McGeeney. They've obviously won the Sam Maguire, the biggest of the biggest, but they haven't won an Anglo-Celtic. So, particularly against Tyrone, big rivals at home, Armagh wanted to win that game, and it showed eventually. It wasn't... It's a bit of a throwback, Kilman O'Neill spoke about it afterwards on the Sunday game to Peter Canavan and Joanne Campbell. It was nearly like it was played under the old rules for the first 50, 60 minutes, so it wasn't great. It wasn't great. You were kind of... Tyrone, I guys alluded to it last week, Tyrone would come with something. They're clearly not at their best. They lose Derek Canavan early as well. Big blow. Matty Donnelly comes in.
Kennedy.
Yeah, it's like... They're not in a great place. Malik O'Rourke even alluded to it afterwards. Conn Kilpatrick spoke about it in his own interview afterwards. Man of the match, he was brilliant yesterday. But just, they're in a tough place, but they nearly grinded it out. And Armagh, we're asking, can Armagh get one of these 70-minute performances in? They probably don't need it yet. And McGeeney's point, it perfectly sums that up after. Just win the game. Get through. They would fancy their chances of getting to an Ulster final. But it wasn't a classic. Extra time was good. Morgan obviously has the massive chance at the end, and I would have put my house on him to chip that over. And I thought, at least we got penalty shootout in the first weekend of the championship. It wouldn't be a bad start. But as an overall game, Armagh, same issues we face in the league. Wasteful in front of the posts. When their running game and their high energy isn't going, they look ordinary. And that's the ask as they go through the championship. Maybe, look, they're building up towards a 70-minute performance. You know, maybe it might come in May or June in an Ulster final or an All-Ireland quarter-final or semi-final. But they weren't at their best yesterday. But Tyrone weren't good enough to take advantage. And that's kind of the story of where Tyrone are at.
Do you see, before Morgan's free, Kilpatrick stands in front of the ball for about...
He's blocking off the lip. Charlie Ogue is trying to get in there and have a go at him. I think, straight away in soccer and the penalties.
Yeah. Penalties, yeah.
That's what he's doing. Yeah. Which Charlie Ogue was kind of getting in his face. Yeah. But Morgan from a 45, you're thinking. And like he chips it. You know, I was amazed.
It doesn't come back in for him.
Yeah. Maybe he's trying to curl it in, but distance, not an issue for him. A little 6-iron. But it would have been nice to see Penos, but...
Yeah.
Oh,
you
really?
mentioned
I think so,
Oisin O'Neill's interview. I thought his interview was very good after the game. I just thought
impressive.
he was very on
matter
the
of
money
fact,
with,
wasn't he?
With everything. Yeah, good speaker, well able to deliver the message. But he said that even when they were warming up in the ground, it was tetchy, it was nervy, it was pure championship. I think that it's important to acknowledge that as well, that the difference between going into your first championship match and your National League matches, like the difference, honestly, now is night and day. You're not turning up to a National League game with your heart beating out of your chest, like ready. You're going up there going, I might get a few shots off the right leg now today and I'll try and improve this, whatever. The National League, honestly, is not do or die. When they went into the ground for this game, it would have been all on the line. So even that change in mentality would have been important, because I think Tyrone, always and ever and going forward, need to be operating absolutely on the edge.
Yes.
To compete at all. And they did. They got there. The intensity of the game was probably not, 100% at both teams' best, but that's where Tyrone need to be at to compete. And I think, I probably slept on that a little bit, where I was kind of judging them off the National League intensity, and they got to a different level at the weekend.
There's enough to go off from Alec O'Rourke and those players, isn't there? Again, they kind of spoke with that afterwards. It's been a tough spring. They haven't been at it. Obviously, try whatever injury with Canavan, he's critical. Get him back. Like McElholm has the chance in extra time, and you're thinking, he's backing himself to go for goal. Maybe just pop that one over. But there's enough there. What we see from Tyrone. Yeah, I knew you'd like it, and I like the kind of.
No, I don't. I think he had to put that over. Because
I agree. I'm boring though, Jimmy. I'm an old, boring, slow corner forward. Like I'd fisted that one over. But
was it Ryan O'Toole did it one day?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of that. Yeah, put it through Morgan's legs.
That opened up for him. This one, when McElholm is going through, I don't know who comes across, but he's caught.
Garrett Murphy gets the
There's no angle for him to score the goal. If he did just kick it over or just blast it at the crossbar and then, But
he's not that type of player though, Jimmy, isn't he? Like, he has that little bit of stardust.
James, or Paddy.
Yeah. If Matty Donnelly's going through there, lads, he's popping that one over the bar and we're going to penalties.
Probably. And Matty Donnelly was very unlucky in extra time with a shot, but he scored a beautiful point at the end of regulation time, and the key scored at the start of the second half. Yeah. But Paddy, Tyrone now have 7 or 8 weeks to lick their lips. I'm going to come back to James and Armagh in a minute. They're going to be so you're going to have your 8 provincial finalists having a home game against the 8 other teams in the Sam Maguire. So Tyrone are going to be one of the 8 teams in an away round 1 game.
Nobody's going to want to play them, and it goes without saying, how they use this period is very important. If the team in a good space, they can get a lot out of this, but it's more just not ideal. Like, you're kind of gearing up that this is our window, and now we've 7 or 8 weeks off. It'd be interesting to see when they go. Yeah, I know. It's just like,
will they go back and play club league games? Do you know, are they just going to do training camps?
It's hard to keep a team in there. They need work. They need a bit of work, but you're not going to get challenge games right now because the teams are all in the middle of the provincial championships. It's a tough spot, and how they Malik O'Rourke wouldn't have been planning for that. They would have thought, we're going to go here, we're going to nick a win and try and go through and win the Ulster Championship. But it's hard to know. If you're a player in that camp, Jimmy, like, you're gearing up for that. You lose the game, you're obviously disappointed, bitter rivals, and then you're going, we've 8 weeks off. What do we do here? Like, I don't know. It's a bizarre kind of schedule they have to navigate now, and it doesn't look we're not on the inside, but it doesn't look from the outside that it's a really happy, fluid camp. Albeit it was a good performance yesterday, but I don't know what happens for the next 7 or 8 weeks for Tyrone. What do they do?
It doesn't seem like a happy camp since the All Ireland win. There's fellas dropping off the panel. There's fellas unhappy.
But Malik O'Rourke has come in since then, Jimmy, to kind of give that freshness.
Yeah. But even kind of in going holidays, I thought was a bit of an indication of how it is in there. I don't think if he thought that they were going to win the All Ireland, he'd have been going anywhere, especially being the main man. It's hard to know. I still think Tyrone will be fine, but I can't see them progressing.
Fine, Jimmy. But what does fine mean? Like where can
they'll compete?
They were fine last year, and they got to an All Ireland semi-final.
I don't think they're in a semi-final this year. Like nobody will want to play them. Nobody wants to play Tyrone because they are dangerous. They have dangerous players, but it's just like you nailed it, Jimmy. If they are not, we say this all the time about Tyrone. When they're good, they're nasty. When they're bad, they're soft. Essentially, they're easy to play against, and
they have the players in that group. Obviously, Cormac Quinn, I thought did as good a job as anyone on Ushing Conaty in a long time. As you mentioned, Paddy Kilpatrick, who was man of the match, had a monstrous game, especially when his midfield partner Brian Kennedy goes off a little earlier. And Michael McKernan, who has had so many injury problems since he ripped up the league last year, was his imperious self. He was flaking into tackles.
They've got good players. They've got really good players. They've got really good players. And that's the frustrating thing. Like I'm a neutral. I don't really care if Tyrone go well or not. But if you're a Tyrone supporter, there's a lot of good stuff there. It's just how do they harness it and get it going?
Yeah, for sure. James, I want to ask you. Go on, James. Hop in there.
I'm just offensively, Tyrone still they just don't do it for me. Like if I was there, I know he went off very early, but they have no interest in kicking the ball in. No interest whatsoever. Now, whether that's from inside or outside, the inside lads don't maybe look for it as well as they used to or whatever, but no interest in kicking the ball in. There was ample opportunity the last day, especially in the first half, where I remember there's one stage where Kilpatrick was actually running with the ball kind of to the sideline, looking up, hopping, soloing, waiting for a run and nothing. And then they just kept running it. There's only so far that gets you in the new rules. You have to be able to move it with the foot. They haven't got there yet, I don't think. In fairness to Matty Donnelly, I don't know why he was on the bench, but when he came on, he was so bloody good again. He's such an excellent player. I think he does look for those kick passes and they trust him, they kick it to him. But nobody else for some reason. I don't know. They have to get the hang of that.
Was Ethan Jordan unlucky? Was he a bit too trigger happy on his championship debut? Was he just because we've seen him rack up big scores in the league?
That's what he was there for. He understood the brief, and he's done it in the league. I know it's different in the championship, and there's more pressure, maybe a little bit, half a second less time. But Malik O'Rourke gave him the keys there, and another day he nails them, and he's the star. He had a couple of these games. Remember, was it the opening night of the leagues against Kildare, and he's swinging them over from everywhere. I know it's a different atmosphere and different championship league is league, but that was his job to go and pull the trigger there, and it just didn't happen for him. Like you missed them all. You usually get one or two of them, but missed them all. It's just like
He got one nice score in the second half. Then the wind was tricky. He understood the brief, as Paddy said, maybe not the breeze.
But even Oisin O'Neill said afterwards that the wind changed and it was swirling, and even on TV it was hard to know who was playing with the wind in the first half. He had a couple of
his 2-pointer was big,
dropped well short. Huh?
His 2-pointer was
what
big.
happened? What happened to the referees? Magic. What happened to the referees' magic foam? Because Oisin definitely, with his strides, go out himself about 12
Cladivin was trying to get it out of him, wasn't he? And he wasn't biting.
But it was a great big score.
Brilliant
and Tyrone were point up at that stage. James, I had a question or two tactically on Armagh, the way that it's set up. So McGeeney obviously names Greg McCabe all league long at 10. He brings in Tomas McCormick as well as a wing forward. Now, numbers on the back, right? Jarly Burns has played a lot of league football at 11 this year, despite wearing 7. I think he was alternating between half forward and half back yesterday. Ross McQuillan is obviously phenomenal going forward. And perhaps the likes of McCormick and McCabe, they're there to compensate. He kind of plays McCabe as like a dummy forward in the 3 up. And obviously, then he's got the punch coming back from Turbot and O'Neill off the bench. But what do you make of the manner in which they're setting up?
I think both teams set up very similar this weekend. And it was pure first round of championship. I think both teams set up in a way to keep themselves solid, not get beaten easily. If you look at, as you said, numbers on the back are different to where they're playing. But if you look at 10 and 12 for Armagh, you've McCormick and McCabe. And for Tyrone, you've Ben McDonald and Shawnee Donald. So none of those players are there to create. They are to compete in the air and on the breaks and to get back and tackle and work as hard as possible. And it almost affected the way the game was played because there didn't seem to be any creativity really played. And when Conaty was marked so well, there was nothing really happening for long spells. The ball was just being shuffled. So tactically, I know that there's been a lot of credit for Armagh the way they're setting up recently with those half-backs style players in the forwards. But then when the other team matches it, it really stifled the match. There was no bit of fluidity or no bit of class and no bit of kind of attacking intent. And then the other argument is, geez, Armagh's bench did brilliantly. Yeah. Look at what Turbot and Oisin O'Neill did when they came on. And I'm thinking, I give them no credit for that. Because they're the skillful players. They're the players you want on the field.
Like, so you want them starting, Jimmy?
I want them starting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it drives me mad when people say, that was great management. The bench did brilliant. The bench did brilliant because they're their best players.
But that's strategy, Jimmy. McGeeney knows that.
It is strategy, I know.
Surely Turbot is starting, but he's holding him back. If you're Turbot, you no matter what they're telling you, you're not happy. Like, you want to be starting. But the way he plays, his speed, it's like he's such a weapon. To kind of complement what Conaty has. But this is what Tyrone, they both sides mentioned it. It was cagey. It was like they know each other so well. There was definitely that element of cancelling each other out. Wasn't that for like you throw the shackles off? You don't really see that much. I think when Armagh do that, they're absolutely at their best. But the likes of Turbo coming on, like the bench is what one of them, Jimmy. To be fair, I know you don't like it, but
only because they were on the bench.
Yeah, so it worked. So if you're McGeeney, you're going, this is the job. This is the brief.
James.
You're thinking like a player, Jimmy. You're not. You got to think like.
It strikes me, Paddy. Did you notice when he James was on his little monologue there? He seemed to put on or accentuate an older Kerry man's accent. It's like he's heard this from a manager before in the last couple of weeks.
He's getting flashbacks. He's sweating there as well because he just drops his.
Are they using you as a finisher, James? Are they trying to use you as a finisher in the Legion?
We need finishers here. Turbot rolling the eyes when he gets the arm around the shoulder from McGeeney on Thursday night. Listen, pal, we're gonna have you coming in off the bench. You're so important.
You never bought that, Paddy, did you?
No, he's too slow. I always think you need speed coming off the bench. No matter where you're going, you want a bit of pace. Kev Mack was a great man for it, obviously. But
you do, but I think you're almost saying this is going to be tight. We're not going to pull away, and then you're going to come in rather than
that's the expectation.
Lads, we're the better team here. Yeah, off you go.
Yeah, okay.
Like Oisin O'Neill kicks a couple of scores. One in particular, I'm just thinking of where he gets a little hand pass, and
Paddy,
he puts hand to foot so quick.
Sorry,
Paddy, we'll see you Friday.
Gotta go.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, Friday. That's perfect.
We'll pick this up on Friday, boys. Go on, Jimmy.
We're just going to finish up.
Stick it into him. Pick the best players. Good luck.
Thanks, Paddy. James, just on that.
Just when Oisin O'Neill comes on, he kicks a point. He obviously kicks the fantastic 2-point free, but he gets one. There was a couple of times where Armagh, and they were criticised for not attacking quickly a lot of time. I think they did attack quite quickly, but they just didn't have the class to finish off the moves. And Oisin O'Neill just gets the ball into his hand, takes half a step and chips over with the right, and next thing they're facing another kick out. They're on the attack again, and they're brilliant on both kickouts. So I just think both sides missed that bit of class. Saying coming from a corner forward's perspective, I just think that both sides were missing a bit of corner forward impetus in that a focal point, someone to kick to. And I enjoyed the game, by the way. I know this kind of maybe sounding a little bit critical, but I actually really enjoyed the different style of the game, that it was kind of contained and it was down to kind of play it around the middle eight. But you'd love to see a ball go in, caught, and someone off the shoulder and just kick it over. It just takes all the pressure out of the game and it makes it easier for you. And that didn't happen for either side, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, look, I think they'll both be hoping they have a long summer ahead, and we know how arduous a task it can be to try and win an Ulster Championship from the preliminary round.
Yeah, the red card I thought was very harsh as well, Tom, for Darren McMullen. Because he gets caught in kind of a little.
It was a yellow and a black, wasn't it? Or is it a second yellow?
Two yellows. He gets a little bit of pushing with Kilpatrick.
Yes.
A really harsh yellow. And I think for the ref there, the second yellow has to be nearly bordering a red to give him the second yellow. And it's a little bit of a lazy tackle late in the game. And it had a big impact. So massive, I thought that was harsh.
Tyrone very nearly got away with the high press late on. Lorcan McGarry just slipped after Matty Donnelly forced the turnover in the last seconds of normal time. It was
a big moment.
It was unlucky.
Big
and then
he plucks off the ground then as well, doesn't
he? Yeah, and obviously with the rules then, Armagh, in the old rules you were back to 15 in extra time, but Armagh still in the 14. But the start of their second half, James, Ross McQuillan, Gavin White-esque from the throw-in, collecting that ball from 6, putting the ball over the bar, great score. And then that goal that we mentioned earlier on for Tomas McCormick got to give them the foothold in extra time. But Armagh got the job done. They will go on to face Fermanagh in 2 weeks' time in their Ulster quarter-final. And the winners of that play the winners of Donegal and Down in the Ulster semi-final. So this weekend, go on, James.
Just one thing on Conaty. And I am a huge fan of him. I think he's a super player. But there's no doubt that there's extra heat in him this year. He's been tagged and tagged hard. And it's going to be really interesting. I think it's very obvious the change in approach to defending him. It's going to be really interesting to see how he learns that skill of shaking off a tight marker, especially when you like to drift and you're not used to maybe someone dunting you in the chest or pulling your shorts constantly. It's a different approach to the game, and he's going to have to get used to it because he was maxing out. When he wasn't touched, he was just coming up in lovely areas and picking off scores. So it happened a little bit to Paddy Clifford at times. It was around the time that Myler was playing great football for Tyrone.
21,
the teams were trying to tag him, and it took him 3 or 4 games, championship matches, to kind of say, okay, this is a little bit different. I'm going to have to learn a few more different movements here. And he picked it up, and he was able to thrive again. But Conaty's in that spell, I think, where it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with it.
Well, Conaty had such a rapid rise, and All-Ireland winner, Young Footballer of the Year, nominated again for Young Footballer of the Year last year. The game changes too, the style of footballer that he is. So that's interesting. Did you find that? Obviously, you were a different player, but when you went, kind of break through in 13, you get the goals in Croke Park. No. 14, your Footballer of the Year. Did you always have that, that extra bit of attention after that, or
no? I think it's different. It's different as an inside forward. Like Conaty's aware of 15 and 13 at times, but that he's playing
deeper,
even further out than the half forward line. So as an inside forward, you're always used to someone there. But I just don't think the Conaty's used to it just yet, and it takes a little bit of time. And there are some brilliant markers out there who are going to make your life absolute hell, and you just need to learn those couple of tricks with your timing, maybe your eye contact outside, maybe it might be, even Paul Galvin talked about clipping fellas in the heels, just to get a little bit of a yard. All those things, using your backside maybe to hip a fella away before you make a run. They're small things, but they'll make a difference. What's that?
What has Paddy done, do you think, differently?
I think he's done all of them, and he also looks for the ball slightly differently, I think, depending on who's marking him. If nobody's on him, like the All-Ireland final last year, he's getting every possession and he's making them pay. And I think that if he is being marked, he just takes himself out a little bit, lets maybe someone else hold the majority of the ball, and he picks his times to come. And that's again something that's learned. And the only time you can learn it is in the heat of the battle, I think, in championship matches.
Yeah, that's interesting. This weekend, we have got 6 championship games. So by the end of next Sunday, there'll have been 15 played in the provincial championships. We've got 2 in Ulster. We've got a spicy derby between Cavan and Monaghan. Another one between Antrim and Derry. Getting a lot of these in provincial championships. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of counties side by side playing against each other. Cavan Monaghan is going to be
here for this.
It is. Cavan Monaghan is going to be an interesting one. Both of them out of form. Gabriel Bannigan's on the record for saying that Monaghan are lucky they weren't in Division 2 this year. They could have gone into Division 3 given all their injuries and their troubles. Cavan just about stayed up. A couple of bright sparks during the league. A couple of kind of worrying leads that let slip away as well. So that's in Clonus. Derry face Antrim. Antrim kind of got their act together in the middle of the league under Mark Doran, and Derry seemed to put on a bit of a charge for promotion before falling short. So there have been good signs in Derry.
Saturday
4 games
night
in
game,
Leinster.
there'll be lovely atmosphere there.
That'll be
Saturday night,
class.
5:00. It's actually my favorite time for a game. 5 or 6 o'clock on Saturday evening there.
And
The
a bit of
crowd,
nice
there's
weather.
something different about the crowd on a Saturday evening. I don't know what it is, but on a Sunday sometimes they can take a little bit of time. You need to really give them something to get going.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, it's like the crowd are baying for it.
Bit of giddiness. It's nearly like the pre-drinks before they go on.
The drinks.
The drinks.
So
no, it's
it'll
interesting.
be great.
I think
The atmosphere there will be sensational above.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then we're obviously having a little show on Friday night, so we'll be going in depth on the Leinster quarterfinals. But there are a couple of spicy matchups here. I try to get Paddy going on Wicklow and Dublin there. We'll see what happens there. We've got Kildare and
I think
Laois.
he could bite at that yet, Tom. Keep at
He
that.
could. I will.
Keep at that.
I
His
will.
face
I
just
gotta-
tightened up when you said it. It just contorted completely. He did
Well,
not like it.
It could come back. It could come back to bite me, because Louth and Wexford is going to be a really interesting one. These two have had very close battles over the year, and Wexford have done serious work and are promoted as well to Division 2. And then Meath and Westmeath, I just think this is going to be such a clinker. I just think it's going to be such a good game in Tullamore. So I think we're in for a treat again, James, this weekend. As it always, it's slowly kind of bubbling and heating up as the weeks go on.
Yeah, I think this weekend now will be another ramp up. A couple of shocks will always put almost the fear of God into teams. When you're going, look what happened above. We could be caught, and then it just adds that extra level of tetchiness. But it's great to see how teams will react now from the league to the championship, because it's been a wake up call for me even this weekend to see the difference. There is absolutely no comparison between National League and Championship. It's incredible how it ramps up so quickly. Even just that word, lads, it's Championship. It's different. It's just like, I just remember those huddles. I always said those huddles in the middle of your training field, and everyone knows there's that steeliness in the eye of the senior players, or the hardy fellas, that maybe wasn't there during the National League. It's just a little switch that they can trip, and
it is a switch.
Yeah,
it is a switch.
It's a small thing. It's a mindset. Even in the Tyrone Armagh game, the blocking. Teague did a block in the first half. I forget who had a goal chance. He did a full Superman block, and his face was one of the things he was blocking it with. He just threw his hands out there, but he also left his face completely exposed for a block. And then Kennedy was after jarring his knee. I thought he was after doing the cruciate. It was actually the exact same kind of incident that when the Gooch did his cruciate in the club championship game against Castlebar. He just kind of hyperextends the knee, and I thought he was in trouble. But he comes back on and does an unbelievable block on the top of the D. Ross McCullen ends up chipping a point off it. But he was just body on the line. Everyone was putting their body on the line, and it's a different game when fellas are at that.
But I think as well, I think you have more freedom to express yourself in Championship too. Like Ross McQuillan's giving it everything when he kicks a point. Like he's giving it to the crowd. Yeah. He's giving it to the fella marking him. In the Longford Westmeath game, Longford get a goal, and he leaves it in the Westmeath keeper for about like 10 seconds. That came back to bite him a little bit, but like, then Loughlin celebrating his goals, I think, it allows you to express yourself that bit more, to bring that bit of edge, that bit of aggression, that bit of flamboyance.
Yeah, but even from a forwards point of view, I remember myself, if you're scoring in the Championship, it's different. Everything is way harder earned. Like you could rack up a couple of points in the National League game. It's not the same feeling. Like the feeling of satisfaction and that you've actually done something worthwhile come Championship match is huge. So it's great to see forwards delivering in it.
James O'Donoghue, good work, a good hour put in after a late night last night watching the Masters. Paddy did the same. He had to slip away to work there. You got to go to work as well, I'm sure. So going to let you go, and I'm going to get this edited and uploaded, and I'll see you on Friday. Maybe if we get up a bit earlier, there might be a bit of golf.
Absolutely. I'm going to go for the Cam Young swing, the pause at the top.
I want that too. Yeah. See you soon, buddy.
practice on
Bye-bye.
Friday. Go on.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.